What's going on? It's your boy TreeTactical hitting you with another one. And today we heading to the blue skies, baby. We about to fly with these firearms. So I just wanted to give some information about flying with firearms and going through the whole TSA process. So I got the TSA website pulled up. I'm gonna just read a couple of this lines and things like that, just so we can have a better understanding for how to carry a firearm properly on a plane and what you can and cannot bring together or separately. Okay, so let's get into it. So, firstly, it says on this is the actual TSA.gov website. I'm not going to Google for this information. I'm going straight to their website. So, if there's any problems at the airport, I can bring this up and show them this is what you said, and this is the rules that I'm following. I'm not breaking any of these rules. So let's get into it. It says here, you may transport unloaded firearms in a locked, hard-sided container as checked baggage only. So that means you got to put it under the plane. You cannot put a firearm in your book bag and your carry-on. We'll go to jail. Don't try it. So we're gonna get back to this. I just want to make sure everything is clear so nobody's breaking any rules. I am not a lawyer, so I am not giving legal advice. I'm just giving the terms that are represented on the TSA government site. So back to it. Declare the firearm and or ammunition to the airline when checking your bag at the ticket counter. So here, this can be a little confusing because it says firearm and or ammunition. You cannot have loaded firearms when you, even if they're in the cases securely locked, the ammunition has to be completely separate. All firearms must be unloaded. So one thing I want you to do when you're packing your firearms and taking on that plane, I want you to triple check, make sure there's no ammunition in the gun, in the magazines, anything like that in the same case. If you want to bring ammunition, you have to put it in a separate hard-sided lockable case as well. So let's get back into it. Okay. The container must completely secure the firearm from being accessed. Lock cases that can easily be opened are not permitted. Be aware that the container the firearm was in when purchased may not adequately secure the firearm when it is transported in the baggage. Now that's a good part to pause and show some examples. So I'm pretty sure everybody is familiar with the almighty Glock box. This is not, it's hard-sided, right? But there is no lockable points on this box. You see, usually there's like a little ring hole here or here where you can actually add a lock via one of these combination locks or even one of these locks that comes with your firearm. So let me show you some. I dropped it. Let me show you some good examples. So it is hard-sided, but there's no point, nowhere you can lock it. Now I could use this one to lock it around the handle, but there's still a gap, like an opening. So to me, that's not adequately secure because if you can get the case open a little bit, you could just rip it apart and access the firearm. So to me, when I'm reading this definition, this is not equal adequacy for traveling with the firearm. So here is a good stock. This is a Sig Sauer case. As you can see, it has these two ring holes where you can add. I'll show you. You take your lock, open them up, and you're just gonna slip it down through the hole. And lock it. Just like this. Now, when you try to open it, you can't open it. And I'm gonna add another one. I'm gonna add one of these to the other side to make it a little bit more secure. Because when I'm going through flying, I don't want to have any questions about the security of my firearm. So these are secure. This is, to me, is a secure case because there is a locking point on the case. And I actually bought another case because I knew that my Glock case wouldn't be adequately secure. So this is a TSA approved firearm box that I got off of Amazon. To me, I like this one a little bit better because the ring holes are actually inside the sliding tabs. So if you lock this, I'm gonna demonstrate again. Take your lock, put it through, lock it. See, now it's locked where it is. And now I can't even slide it open. Even if I slide the other one, it's only gonna open so much. And like I said, I'm double locking all my cases. So to me, these are adequately secure cases. So let's read a little bit of more information before we get into what I'm taking with me. Let me scroll down here. It says contact Ask TSA or TSA contact center with questions you have regarding TSA firearm regulations and for clarification on what you may or may not transport in your carry-on checked baggage. And they even have a video here. I'm not gonna play it for like copyright reasons and things like that, but they show the types of locks to use, showing the firearm, making sure the firearm is clear and free of ammunition, and the type of box to use as well. Type of box that they use. So here they got a couple bullet points. I'm not gonna read them all, but I'm going to read a couple. It says when traveling, comply with laws concerning possession of firearms as they vary by local, state, and international governments. So that means if you're going into a place like New York or California where, there's, you had that 10 round capacity law or whatever, you cannot bring a firearm that holds 22 rounds with the, you know what I'm saying? You have to comply to the laws to where you are going and where you are flying from. And I believe, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's even from, say you have a layover somewhere, though, you have to follow those rules too in that layover. I'm not sure because you're not still in possession of the firearm, but that's, like they said, that's a good question to ask TSA. For me, I'm on a direct flight from here to Florida. You know what I'm saying? Those are two gun happy states, so I'm gonna be good. So let's get back into these bullet points. If you're traveling internationally with a firearm and checked baggage, please check the U.S. Custom and Border Protection website for information and requirements prior to travel. So if you're going to Denmark, Egypt, things like that, you want to just make sure you're complying with their rules as well. So anywhere you're going, you want to make sure you're complying with their rules. Okay, firearms must be unloaded and locked in a hard-sided container and transported as checked baggage only, like we said before. As defined by 49 CFR 1540.5, a loaded firearm has a live round of ammunition or any component therefore of in the chamber or cylinder or in a magazine inserted in the firearm. For civil enforcement purposes, TSA also considers a firearm to be loaded when both the firearm and ammunition are accessible to the passenger. For example, if an individual has a firearm in an accessible bag and ammunition in his or her pocket or any combination where the individual has access to both, the firearm is considered loaded for purposes of accessing a civil penalty. Only the passenger should retain the key or combination to the lock unless the TSA personnel requests the key to open the firearm container to ensure compliance with TSA regulations. You may use any brand of or type of lock to secure your firearm case, including TSA recognized locks. Bringing an unloaded firearm with accessible ammunition to the security checkpoint carries the same civil penalty / fine as bringing a loaded firearm to the checkpoint. You may find information on the civil penalties at the civil enforcement page. And firearms parts, including magazines, clips, bolts, firing pins, are prohibited in carry-on baggage. Must be transported in checked bags. So that means if you have, your 30 rounds that wouldn't fit in the box, in the container or whatever, you can't bring them. You can't just put them in your backpack or stuff them in your pocket. That's not gonna fly with TSA. No pun intended. But yeah, so you just want to make sure you're compliant to all the rules and all the regulations about where to carry your firearm, how to carry your firearm. So let's read these last couple bullet points. Replica firearms, including firearm replicas that are toys, may be transported in checked baggage only. And lastly, rifle scopes are permitted in carry-on and checked baggage. So if you got, your 3-time rifle scope or whatever, thermal rifle scope, and you want to carry in checked baggage or you carry on, you can. I always put it in my carry-on because I'm not paying 500 plus for a scope for them. We all know how TSA get. They get the throwing bags around. I'm not risking that with these expensive optics. So you can't put those in your carry-on, or you could check them as well. So let's just read a couple more about ammunition. Ammunition is prohibited and carry-on baggage but may be transported in checked baggage. Firearm magazines and ammunition clips, whether loaded or empty, must be securely boxed or included within a hard-sided case containing an unloaded firearm. See, now this could be kind of tricky because here when you read it, it says firearm magazines and ammunition clips, whether loaded or empty, must be securely boxed or included within a hard-sided case containing an unloaded firearm. So that could be kind of tricky because it kind of implies that you can have a loaded magazine in the same case as a unloaded firearm, which is not the case, which we already read. So just beware of some of these, like the wording, because it can be kind of confusing. But one thing I'm going to drive home: do not have ammunition with the firearm in the case. If you want to bring ammunition, because wherever you're going, the ammunition is expensive, take another case, not this one, for example, because it's not lockable. But get you another case like this, throw all your ammunition in this, and then call it a day. Lock it, and you'll be good. Just make sure there's no firearm in that box along with it. So, small arm ammunitions up to .75 caliber and shotgun shells of any gauge must be packaged in a fiber such as cardboard, wood, plastic, or metal box specifically designed to carry ammunition and declared to your airline. So that means, to me, that's meaning you can't just have loose rounds in a box and call it a day. They must be, and I would just keep them in the original package. Like if you have, like say you carrying some Hornady Defense, keep it in the box. Just that's the easiest way you're gonna be able to travel with it anyway. So when you open your box, you're not just having loose ammunition just falling out your box, right? Okay. Please check with your airline for quantity limits of ammunition. So certain airlines might only allow you to carry a certain amount of ammunition. So you just want to be sure that everything is within standards and proper protocol. So you're not, because you don't want to miss your flight or be detained or anything like that. So just confirm everything with TSA, confirm everything that you are reading, make sure you double read it, triple read it, whatever you got to do to get the correct understanding and abide by those laws that are put in place for our safety and the safety of the airline company. So that's enough of the reading. Let's get into what I'll be taking with me. So put the camera down a little bit. We got in this SIG box. There's not a SIG in here, I can tell you that. We have my EDC, my Smith & Wesson, good old airweight, nice and light, 38 Special Plus P with the shrouded hammer. And then, I forgot how I had these in here. I'll figure that out in a second. We have the one that I will be giving to my brother, my Charter Arms Undercover 38 Special, single double action. All firearms are clear and free of ammunition. I've never seen that happen before. So yeah, that's in box number 1. If you hear that, that's my cats. I don't know why they fighting. They got like some sibling rivalry going on. I don't know. Don't pay them no attention. Cats and guns, man. That's my thing. And a couple other things. So, box number 2, my TSA box. I was going to use my Glock box, but as we seen, it wasn't adequate enough for me. I need to change some of these rubber bands. They're getting kind of old and crumbly. So, we have the almighty Glock 22 MOS. Yes, sir. Again, all firearms are free and clear of ammunition. So I will be taking this bad boy, you know. Dang, I don't be remembering how I had these guns. Oh, okay. That one was like this. I do remember that. So we have this, the Glock 22 40 cal. And then we have the Glock 19, my first Glock that I ever purchased, Gen 5, both Gen 5s. And this one as well is clear and free of ammunition. And there is also no ammunition, no live ammunition on the set. And then I'm taking my Holosun PID light. It fits on both of these weapons, but I have it currently on my 22. I'll show you it fits on both. But yeah, I was gonna bring my P365. I might have to loop. Oh, there it go. I was gonna bring my P365, but when I switched cases, it just didn't fit. So we got enough guns, you know. We're gonna shoot a little bit, give him his gun, and that's gonna be that. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna securely lock these cases. I'm gonna start off with my combination lock. I'm gonna feed it through the hole, connect it, scramble the numbers. Now this part is locked. I'm gonna make sure it's locked. Then I'm gonna take one of these locks that come with all your firearms, feed it through the hole again, and I'm gonna lock it. Just like that. Take the key out. Boom. Now we secure. We're locked. Ain't no opening this. You can't even, this one, you can't even slide things open. I'm gonna keep this off to the side. Boom. Next case. Same thing. Take one of these combination locks, feed it through the hole, lock it, scramble the numbers. Make sure it's locked. Then again, I'm gonna take one of these locks that comes with your firearms. Pass it through the hole. Come back through. I'll pull it some more. Boom. Make sure it's locked. Tug on the locks. No such thing as over being too secure. So now both of my firearms are locked with two locks on. You can't tell me these is not adequately secure. Right? Right. Now, last thing I want to mention, you could get these at, this is a personal firearm record. I advise you to have one of these anyway. So if anything ever happens to one of your firearms, you can report the actual serial number, because nobody knows, just like your license plate, most people don't know the serial number for their firearms off the top of their head, especially if you have a lot of firearms like me. So get you one of these. Take this with you. I took a stack of these from the gun store. So now that I'm traveling, I'm gonna take this. I haven't filled this one out yet, but I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna write down each firearm that I'm taking with me, and the serial. It says the manufacturer, the model, serial number, type, caliber, and date acquired, and the cost. So I'm gonna and purchase location, all of that, sold, transferred to. So what I'm gonna fill out on here is the manufacturer, the model, the serial number, the type, the caliber, and the cost. I'm not gonna put the date acquired because I feel like it doesn't matter for me flying. This is just so I can have some proof of what firearms I took with me. And yeah, I'm gonna keep this in my check bag. I'm sorry, in my carry-on bag, and my keys. I'm gonna keep these in my pocket the whole way there. I'm gonna make sure I have them, keep them in my pocket. That way, can't nobody have access to my firearms, and there's proof of what firearms I did bring, just in case. I don't plan on there to be any problems, but if so, I have some point of reference plus this video. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. My next one I'm gonna be dropping is me going to the airport. I'm gonna record that whole process if they allow me to, and getting off the plane. I'll show you how the bag came, how I got the bag back, review the contents again, and then hopefully show me giving it to my brother, giving him his firearm and shooting. That's that's what we do here, man. We shoot guns on this channel. So I'm your boy TreeTactical. I want y'all to stay safe and stay strapped, and we out.